Thanks, Rhiannon. You're watching GB News Live with myself and Martin now. Is now the time that global leaders will finally get a grip on AI? Well, Elon Musk says AI could pose existential risk if it becomes anti-human.
Tech experts, chief spies and global leaders are attending the UK's AI Safety Summit, which commenced today at Bletchley Park in Milton Keynes.
Well, Rishi Sunak is hoping to put the UK at the centre of global efforts to monitor the technology, as well as attracting new business investment.
Well, joining us now is broadcaster and futurist and all-round AI geek, has to be said, Andrew Eborn. Andrew, OK, this summit is of global significance.
Yes.
The UK putting itself at the centre of a new movement, but a lot of people's eyes glaze over when it comes to AI. So come on, get us excited.
Well, let's wake them up. I can tell you, this is the greatest human achievement, but also potentially our biggest existential threat. Right. All credit to Rishi, and this is something I've been predicting on this very stage for several months now. Ellie will tell you, ever since we first met, we've been talking about AI. What Rishi's saying is that we should be front and centre where we develop technology. Some of the best in the world, the best brains creatively and scientifically in the world belong right here in Great Britain. And what's happening, we're gathering the great and the good and the unwashed all together in Bletchley Park, which is the home of computing. You might remember Alan Turing, the guy who appears on the back of a £50 note. Yeah. He was the guy who cracked the Enigma code at Bletchley Park and invented perhaps the first computer to do that. So what's going to happen? We've got the great and the good. They've got to decide two things. One is, what are the risks? And secondly, what steps should be taken to deal with those. And Elon Musk, he's just come out, I've got a little press release here, he said, I don't know what necessarily the fair rules are, but you've got to start with insight before you do oversight. And I'm a Musketeer. I'm always supporting good old Elon Musk because he brings out the best in people. He's a real character. And it was wonderful to see him today when they did the opening speeches. And in those opening speeches, we had Michelle Donelan, who was talking about how great it is to come to the UK. We had a little scanning over to see Elon Musk in the audience behaving himself, which is good. And we also had King Charles, who made his own comments about it, saying, look, he puts it on a par with the discovery of electricity or the splitting of the atom, he said, or also to realise, basically, there are untold benefits, but we must make sure that we harness the risks.
Now, there's been a lot of flack before it started. Joe Biden isn't coming, President Macron isn't coming, Olaf Scholz, the German Chancellor, isn't coming, Justin Trudeau, Japan. But we do have Kamala Harris turning up, and she's been a champion of AI in America. In fact, she's saying, hang on a minute, Britain, you're not taking a lead on this. America is the centre of AI. Can we expect a little bit of jousting on that topic?
You definitely can. I'll tell you what, the PAIN, the pain, is basically Biden. On the 30th of October, he issued an executive order on the safe, secure and trustworthy artificial intelligence. And he says, to ensure that America leads the way in seizing the promise and managing the risk. The fact is, AI knows no borders. And Rishi has wisely said, I want everybody to collaborate, because that's what we need to do. Invited China and various others to the table. And this, I can promise you, will probably be Rishi, if he gets it right, this will be his greatest legacy, that people talk about. Rishi was the guy who brought AI to the UK.
Well, that is something he would certainly like, wouldn't he? We know he loves California, we know he loves his tech. This is something he feels very, very passionate about. But he has always spoken about wanting to be the first, but also wanting to protect it from it getting into the wrong hands. Yeah. And that is why, you touch on China there, that is why it is so controversial to some that China have been invited.
Well, I think you can't have a discussion unless it's a worldwide thing. It's no good saying, hang about, talk about climate, don't talk to China, and talk about India and so on and so forth. You've got all of these things. Everybody is involved. China's worried about it as well, is the reality. They understand the huge benefits. And every day we see seismic changes, both in terms of medicine, new diseases are being cured as a result of it. Creatively, you're having some of the most creative outputs out there. But at the same time, you need to balance it with rules and regulations.
Yep. But also there are those who say, Liz Truss being one of them, that it's a bit like inviting the fox into the chicken pen. I mean, we're always being told that we're banning TikTok, even from parliamentary mobile phone devices, because the Chinese are spying on us. They're even spying on us through the cameras and the microphones in electric vehicles. They're spying on us via 5G mass it is a bit of an eyebrow raiser to invite the Chinese.
I think
it has to be said.
The reality is, if you're having a debate about fox hunting, you'd want to invite the fox to get their opinion as well. So I think Liz Truss is right to a certain extent. Of course you are. But you're assuming that everybody's what they call bad actors. And both the Chinese and also others around the world want to use AI for good. It will make all sorts of tasks, which we suddenly thought were unimaginable, possible. And well, that's what I love. We can collaborate, work on that sort of basis. And so far, the feedback coming out of Bletchley Park is really, really positive.
There's one phrase that really leapt out there, and sounds a bit apocalyptic, sounds a bit dystopian. Elon Musk said this can be anti-human. What does he mean by that?
Of course it can, because you're going to basically 300 million jobs, according to Goldman Sachs, will be got rid of. Because what's going to happen is a lot of those things are going to be automated. The best way to look at AI, however, artificial intelligence, is as a co-pilot. If you turn around and say, look, we've got these things that are going to make our life a lot easier, in the same way as we talked about calculators last time I was here, very, very recently, and I'm glad we got the memo, by the way. Yeah, it's got to be good. But we've got that sort of thing. It will make people work on that sort of basis. You have to get new skills. And if you think, 40-odd years ago, 60% of the jobs we have today weren't even thought about. So we're going to evolve on that sort of basis. People will get new skills. And what I'd love to see in education is, let's accept the fact that a lot of these things AI is going to use to write first drafts of all sorts of things. Let's accept that, but maybe increase other skills, such as oracy. Let's get children to be tested, where they can actually explain what they've learned and so on and so forth. But it's a really, really powerful tool. What we need to do is to make sure it's regulated appropriately. And as you know, I'm a copyright lawyer, so dealing with intellectual property and how that's going to work in this space is very, very important.
There was a poll out this week, Andrew, that said that 1 in 3 Britons fear losing their jobs to AI. There is a genuine fear amongst people that this technology, rapidly developing, will take over.
And you're so right, Ellie, and they should be scared, because the current jobs that they have will be replaced. They'll be made, a lot of things will be automated. That's why I say 300 million jobs is what Goldman Sachs estimate will be lost to it. But people are going to evolve. The best way of basically doing the stuff is to prepare for it, understand what it does. And what we do on a regular basis here on this very channel is talk about AI and how you can embrace that. Get up to speed with what you can do with it, because that's going to be the new opportunities for the future.